Unlocking potential, one dream at a time, on the CJ Moneyway Show.
Sit back and relax. You're listening to the Moneyway Show.
He says, okay, I'll make you a deal. We'll take whatever we can. We come up with a number. He says, but I'm not giving you certification until you pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
So fair deal. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I started and went there. And about 2 months before it was time for the school to start.
Welcome, my good people. Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. And I'm with your host, CJ Moneyway. Let's get it.
What's up, my good people? This your boy, CJ Moneyway. Today, I have on the show Martin Salama, the author of Worrier to Worrier, and also the architect of Worrier L.I.F.E code. Live incredibly full every day. Martin Salama, how you doing, man?
CJ, I'm doing well. So glad to be here with you, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on, man. Excited to have you on. So, what's on your mind, recently that you would like to share with the listeners today?
Oh, wow. That's a great way to put it. Well, what's always on my mind every morning I wake up is how am I going to greet this day?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the old days, I used to get up and say, oh, my God, I got to get up. I got to do work. I got to do this. I have to do that. And now I wake up every morning and say, how lucky am I? I get to do these things.
Yeah.
And I start off my day with appreciation, and I write down 3 things I'm grateful for.
Wow.
Every single day. And even at night, very often I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And this way I'm ready for the day. And then I say, live incredibly full every day.
Uh-huh.
Because if I got that mindset going in, things will go right off the bat.
Yeah, you know what? I like that. I'm thinking about implementing that in my life now. Wake up every day and write 3 things down that you're appreciative of, that you're grateful for to see another day.
And I don't just write it down on a piece of paper. I go out and I have a good notebook like this, a nice moleskin type of notebook.
Mm-hmm.
This is one somebody just gave me, but it's the same kind of quality. Mine is next to my bed. And I write down in there because if I put it into a quality notebook, it means something to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me just scribbling some words down on a piece of paper.
Okay.
That's a little value.
Yeah. That's something that, like you say, I think I'm gonna implement that because I know that by the end of the week and the end of the month that you got so many things that you're thankful for and that you're grateful for just to be here, that you can go back and check mark some things like, okay, I'm grateful for this today or that. So
that's right.
I think,
you know what it does, CJ? It helps you to eliminate the complaining.
And we know that's a lot going on today. Unhappiness, as as you was talking about before we get into that, the program, I'm working on a program of anger management, a 7-course program of anger management. And so, later on, whenever we get another chance, I would like to pick your brain on how these programs and things work like that. And so on that note, can you tell us about this program, this 7-figure program that you're working on?
Absolutely. But before I get there, right before I get there, that's where I was.
Mm-hmm.
I was an angry person.
Okay.
I was a people pleaser. I needed to make sure that everybody was happy. I needed to make sure that I took everything personally.
Mm-hmm.
I was a control freak. And when all those things weren't happening, then I would get angry to the point I would react to everything like a nuclear reactor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd leave fallout all over the place. So I get you when it comes to anger management. I get it. So, man, I'd love to help. You could pick my brain all you want on that.
Okay.
But thank you for asking me about my new program. It's called the Guaranteed 7-Figure Warrior Program. Of course, because everything I do is about being a warrior.
Uh-huh.
So people say to me, well, what do you mean guaranteed? Well, what happened is I've been a coach for about 12 years now.
Okay.
And many times I've gotten into these programs, I'm going to say, okay, we'll help you create a lot, make an impact, make a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And they say it's done with you, done for you. But you know what I found out, CJ? They were really done to you programs.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, they just wanted my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more money they got up front, the better it was, because after that, they're like, okay, go figure it out on your own. Like, what are you talking about? So I put together a program, and I use something called a risk reversal strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning I've reversed the risk and put it on me instead of you, my client.
Wow.
Because I say, give me 12.5% up front of the cost of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't pay me again until you start making money. And when you do, it's 2-to-1. So you're giving me another 12.5% because you've made enough that it's twice as much as what you paid me.
Mm.
And then the next time you pay me is when it's 5-to-1. And then the last one comes when it's 10-to-1.
Wow. That is a risk reward type thing. Okay. So you're doing it basically like
I'm successful when you're successful.
And
right?
yeah. And I like that aspect that, like you say, because I've been in some of them programs that you're talking about too. And I just heard a guy say that when you in these type of things, you are the product. You know what I'm saying? You're the product, and they just selling you off to different people because they really don't care about you. And right. So like what you're saying, which is very interesting, is that you're not in it to get over on people or anything else. You're in it so that people can actually prosper, which is,
That's right.
Which is cool.
I want the people that come into my program, I'm very selective who comes in, because I want to make sure that they believe in themselves as much as I believe in them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because there's 3 things that make somebody successful in anything,
mm-hmm.
especially these kind of programs. 1, you got to believe in the program that you're getting into.
Okay.
2, you got to believe in the guy that's delivering the program.
Mm-hmm.
That's me in this case, right?
Okay.
And number 3, you got to believe in yourself. That you can get there. And that's where my whole Worrier to Worrier comes in. Because besides all the nuts and bolts that I'm going to teach you, that I coach my clients on, they also get my mindset course to go through and come back, and we go coach it and we learn it, and my book, my Worrier to Worrier book, and my cards, because all those things help you say, I know I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not sure, come back to me. We'll work it through, because that's how it gets going.
Oh, okay. So with your Worrier to Worrier book, what does that
entail? A stupid name like that, right?
No. I mean, actually, Actually, it's kind of fitting, because when I was going over it, when I was reading it, it's pretty fitting, because you go from worrying about certain things in life, which, we do at times. You worry about bills being paid, you worry about your car note being paid, we worried about gas prices and things like that. And so how I take it as, in my analogy, how I take it is that I go from worrying to be a warrior. Where these things that I was worrying about, now I'm worrying over those things where they're not an issue. Like you said earlier, well, I'm not complaining about this or that, because I'm worrying over these things.
Exactly right. Exactly. I don't mean stupid. Crazy name, like Worrier to Worrier. It's my Brooklyn accent totally screws it up too. On top of it. Brooklyn's in the house.
How about them Nets, man? So I take it that, okay, let me ask you this then. Are you New York Knicks or Brooklyn Nets?
I've always been a New York Knicks. I got to stay true to my boys.
Okay.
I've been a Clyde Frazier fan since I'm 10 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Can't change that. I'm a New York Knick. I bleed orange and blue.
Oh, well, I'm a Laker fan, as you can see. I've been Lakers since 1980, so 44 years of my life I've been true Laker fan. I like the Yankees, though.
The first basketball game I ever went to was a Knicks-Lakers game.
Oh, yeah?
And it was Clyde against Jerry West.
Oh, I know. That was a good one, dude.
That was a good one. Clyde and Earl the Pearl.
I remember Earl the Pearl.
I'm an old man, man. I'm an old man. And the Knicks won.
Knicks won. Hey, I do like the Yankees. I like the Yankees.
I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah, they my second
empire. I'm part of the evil empire.
Hey, I've been a Yankee fan since '96. When
it's a good time to get on board.
Yeah, with Jeter and them, and then you had Mariano,
Mariano, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Tito Martinez.
Yeah. So So yeah, so I like New York. You know, I like some parts of New York and everything. So like what? So you say you're from Brooklyn. So what are some of the skills that propelled you in your younger life? You know, that got you to the point where you are now, as far as wanting to be a consultant, as far as helping others.
We'll be right back.
Don't miss out on CJ Moneyway's book, Both Eyes Open and Both Eyes Shut. And get ready to pre-order his upcoming release, The Issues of Life, coming soon. Moneyway, aiming to inspire.
So I grew up, I was very lucky. My parents, you know, we never really struggled, thank God. So my father had a business, and whenever I had off from school, my mom would send me to work with my dad, go to the factory. He manufactured tablecloths back then. So I was always around entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship and all that. And I think I realized, it took me into my 50s to realize why my mother always shipped me off. I finally got diagnosed in my 50s that I was ADHD. Like, get out of my head. Go with your father. Go to work.
Yeah.
I don't want you hanging around the house driving me crazy. I have 4 older sisters, so, you know, the crazy younger brother they don't want around. But I go to work with my dad, and it's not like I sat in the office and did filing. He's like, okay, you're going to be here. You're going to work in the factory.
Okay.
Today, you're going to clean the toilets. Tomorrow, you're going to empty the truck. The day after, or the next day, you're going to make boxes to fill them up with the tablecloths. Every day, something else. Because he said, you can't ask anybody in this place to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm going to tell somebody to clean the toilets, I better be ready to clean the toilets myself.
Yeah.
Because if they look at me and say, who the hell are you? Even if you're the boss's son, I say, me? I'll show you. Here's the cleaning. Here's the brush. Let's go do it.
Okay. So that entrepreneur...
I was thrown into the fire.
But, you know, I guess as you said, and by you going like that it was something that was instilled in you. And although, you know, a lot of times when we're younger, we don't think that we're getting certain things. But as you get older, those values that you had as a younger age begin developing, you know. So
no question about it. I watched my father every single day. He'd walk through the factory and say good morning to every employee in every place. There was 3 floors actually. The third floor was mostly just storage, but the first and second floor, he'd walk through and he'd say good morning. And every day he would stop by somebody else and say, hey, Mary, how are you? How's your husband? How's things going? The next day it might be Michael. How you doing, Michael? What's going on? How's your boys? How's your this? Every day. Everybody there loved him because he cared about them.
Okay. And you know, and as we know, as being in, you know, working for people or, you know, just working for yourself or whatever, that's key, you know, because I've always said this when I, you know, work for folks or when I've supervised or managed, that the frontline people are actually the people that make you look good. And so if they're not happy, then things ain't going to go the way that you want it to go. So you always want to be pleasant, you know, even to people that you may not be too fond of, you know, but it's still, you know, it's like you still have to present yourself in that manner, you know. So that was a good lesson to be taught.
Take the higher road. Take the high road.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too far. I want to come back to this. So explain to us a little bit about the method of worrier to warrior.
Yeah. So as I told you, I was a people pleaser for most of my life. And I didn't know that I was a people pleaser and taking things personally. I just thought that's who I am. I like to make everybody happy. But then, you know, it all started to come out. I'd been an entrepreneur most of my life. Businessman. I had my own businesses doing different things, the ups and downs of that. And in the early 2000s, I was in a business that we closed, and my wife said, you know, you got to find something else to do, even though you have some other income coming in, residual income. She goes, and I've been playing tennis lately, and I can't find anywhere to play. By then, I was living down by the Jersey Shore in New Jersey. So she says, why don't we look to open up a tennis center, and I'll put some more tennis courts. Now, I got to tell you, CJ, I am not an athlete. I'm not an athlete. You could actually call me an athletic supporter.
But not an athlete, though.
But not an athlete. I can watch with the best of them. But, the people pleaser in me is like, yeah, okay, let's look into this. So we do some research and we find out, we do a feasibility study. Is it feasible to do it? And the guy says, yes, you could put 7 or 8 tennis courts around there easy. But if you think that's going to be a moneymaker for you, it's not going to make the money you kind of want. Mm-hmm. You got to add things. Put in a health club with membership. Put in a spa. Put in a basketball court. All these other things. Like, oh, okay. Before I knew it, I went from just a couple of tennis courts to a $15 million project.
Wow.
Over 100,000 square feet. And it took us 5 years to get through this process. Mm-hmm. Find the land, then go, get an architect and an engineer, and then go to the city. And the city says, oh, you got to do civil engineering. How's it going to affect the traffic? How do you have enough parking? All this other stuff. Like, okay, we keep going and we're raising money, borrowing money, getting loans, getting investors. And the bank this whole time is like, yeah, man, don't worry. When you're ready, we love it. It's a great project. Mm-hmm. Now, it was 2006 or 2007 when we finally got the city approval. Walking into the bank was like walking into Costco at lunchtime, and going to the ends of the aisles and eating from the old ladies giving you the samples.
Okay.
They were giving money away.
Oh, wow.
Right? In 2006, 2007, loans were nothing. They were giving them away like nothing. Unfortunately for me, it was the summer of 2008 when I got all the approvals.
Oh.
So I go to the bank and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. They're like, yeah, we're not lending right now. I'm like, what are you talking about? You told me come back when you're ready. Mm-hmm. Well, things have changed.
Yeah.
A month later, Bernie Madoff, subprime loans. The financial world falls apart and I'm broke overnight. Overnight, I'm broke with, and I've lost $3.5 million of my money, my family's money, loans, investors, and everything. Just like that, I was broke down to the nothing. I stopped paying my mortgage. I stopped paying my car payments. A couple of months later, my son says, Dad, look outside. They were towing away my BMW. That never happened to me before. Mm-hmm. And it was a wake-up call, to say the least.
Hey, before I let you go with that one, I know that feeling. So tell me the feeling that it was when you sat there and looked out the window and watched them put the car on the tow truck, because I did it before. I sat out the window, I heard the truck, and I look outside, I say, oh, man, they coming for my car. And it's like your stomach just drops, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then you run outside, you're like, what are you doing? Okay. Your living room is like, well, can I get the stuff out of the car? Nope.
Man. Now,
no, I can't even have the stuff out of the car.
Now, I didn't have a BMW. I had a Monte Carlo. Now, I can just imagine watching your BMW.
All of a sudden, these feet are made for walking.
So I know that was an experience, man. But so through the triumph, so you say that, you lost $3.5 million of your own money, loans, borrowing things from family members. So the triumph. So, how did you rebuild, the confidence that you had to rebuild? Because I can just imagine how downtrodden one may be,
Yes.
to go through a depression like that, whatever. So what was the process of the getting back to like where you are now?
I wish I could say, CJ, I just woke up and everything was
yeah,
everything was up roses and tulips.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
I went through a year of depression, and the house was under foreclosure. Luckily, I lived in New Jersey, where maybe 50% of the houses went under foreclosure back then in 2008.
Okay,
that's how bad it was.
Yeah, I remember.
Everybody's loan to value went through the roof. That went upside topsy-turvy. And it took them years until they finally processed the foreclosure.
Oh, okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
So here we are. But I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And my family's like, you need to go to therapy. You need to get, the doctor tells me you need to be on depression meds. I started getting, therapy, coaching, meds, all that. And it's about a year later that I'm starting to get out of this depression, which was situational because of what was going on. It was all about the situation. And I said, okay, now what I want to do, right? Nobody wants to hire a 48-year-old guy.
Yeah.
However old I was at the time, 45, 48, almost 50 years old. They just don't, especially when the economy was in the toilet.
Yeah, the way that it was. Yeah, 8 was bad.
Yeah, and the people in my community are like, I'm not hiring this guy. He'll learn my business, go to his family, get money, and become my competitor. I'm like, no, man, it don't work that way anymore. They didn't care. But so I said, okay, I got to think of something else to do. Now, my whole life, I've always been involved in community organizations.
Okay.
And I was always a leader. And the leader is the guy that people come in and say, Martin, I can't do what you're doing. I'm like, hey, CJ, I don't want you to do what I'm doing. I want you to do what's good for you, what you could help us with. And I would encourage them, and I would show them what their potential was and say, whatever you can give us, we'll take. And I realized that I was a coach without even realizing that's what I was doing. And I'd been coached before, so I was like, this is interesting. So I started researching becoming a life coach. And that's what I decided to do.
Okay.
And, I walked into the school there, who happened to be located near me. And I said, look, I got to tell you, your program costs this much. I don't got it. And I know you're going to tell me I can go get funding, but nobody's going to give me any funding because my credit score is in the crapper. My house is foreclosed. I'm as close to bankruptcy as you can get without going bankrupt. I said, but if we make a deal now, I'll pay you whatever number we come up with every month. And he says, okay, I'll make you a deal. We'll take whatever we come up with a number. He says, but I'm not giving you certification until you pay it off. So fair deal, So I started and went there. And about 2 months before it was time for the school to start, it was my 24th wedding anniversary. And my wife says to me, I'm done. I want a divorce.
Wow. I'm
like, looking back now, there are 364 other days of the year she could have told me this.
Yeah.
But, the romantic that she was, she picked anniversary. Luckily I can look back now, CJ, and laugh. But
it wasn't funny then. Yeah.
It wasn't funny then.
I guarantee it wasn't funny then. I understand.
But, what was going through my head was every emotion you could imagine. Fear, anger, loneliness, back to depression even a little bit. And one of the things that went through my head was, why does everything keep happening to me? And here's where I realize now what I was saying. When you say something like, why does everything happen to me? You're looking to blame everybody else for what's going on in your world. Now I say, everything happens through me, the good and the bad. And I take responsibility for it. And that came through now, going through all this stuff and going through coaching. And that first weekend of coaching, they said, you don't have to be who you think you have to be. You could be whoever you want. And it was about first working on myself before I can work on others. And I think God was sending me a message when my wife came and told me I'm getting divorced. Like, oh, you want to be a coach? Well, first figure yourself out.
That could be true. But like you say though, sometimes, and I know that's hard, especially when you're going through things, and you love someone, and you've been through the fire, and you've been through the trials and tribulations,
and you think you can get through anything together.
Yeah, and then when that time comes where it's just like, you know what, I don't want to be with you no more, I don't love you more. When everything is down, like you say, when everything is down, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, here go another obstacle. I took my car being repossessed, house in foreclosure, and, all these other things. But this one kind of stings a little bit more than all those other things that I have been through.
No question about it. It really hurt. And as much as I probably could say I knew it was coming, until it really happened, you don't really believe it.
Yeah.
But that's why when I went to coaching and I started to understand who I was, I started to understand why. It felt like, okay, it was time.
Yeah.
Because as a guy who had a short temper, I would lecture her, and I would lecture whoever was around me until they saw my side point of view, and they said, okay, you're right. But you know what? It's not about being right, because you'll fight till the end.
Yeah.
You'll lose. So you're right. Big deal.
Yeah.
Take that and go to the bank. What's it going to do for you?
So they'll just tell you you're right so you can shut up, so they can just go on about their business, huh?
Right. Here's the problem. Most of my conversations turned into confrontations. And I needed to change that for back to being conversations.
Okay. I'm kind of like what I'm working on too. One of my things is too, in which I feel as though a lot of men, because that's what I want. That's my focus base. I want to, in my next podcast, I want to focus totally on men, which I wanted to start this one on, but it, turned into something else, which I'm really enjoying. But my next one is going to be focused on men. And one thing that I think a lot of times that we lack is accountability.
Oh, my God. So true. So true. You know why? Because we think we know it all. We think that it's all up to us. And if we don't do it right, it's on us. And you know what? Partially it is. But it's also okay to reach out and ask for help.
Yeah.
We grew up, CJ, in a time where asking for help was a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's really a strength. When you show your vulnerability to somebody, they're willing to help you because you're willing to ask for the help.
Yeah, because, like what you say now, what you said earlier, too, is that when I see you ready, that you have the will to do something, I will be there for you to help you and keep you accountable for what you're doing, because I believe in you. And that's, sometimes in life, that's all we need is somebody to believe in us, because a lot of times, and I know that you, being in the profession that you're in, that a lot of times people can see things in you that I can't see in myself.
That's 100% right. And that's why I love this new program I'm developing, because I'm using the nuts and bolts, but I'm also using the mindset and the accountability and saying, I'm not going to give up on you if you don't give up on you. And even when you do give up on you, get ready for me to hound you. It's not about getting the money. It's about getting you where you want to be. And if you get where you want to be, even better, because then I get the money. But that's not why I'm doing it.
Yeah. Like I heard you say that when you went to the school and you went to them about the program and everything, now it gives me a broader perspective of how when you say that you take the risk, you reversed it, and you take the risk, and, the way that you break down the payment, 12 and a half here, 12 and a half there, is because somebody, when you were in a position, somebody was willing to help you when you didn't have it. And so now it's like paying it forward, Paying
it forward. Exactly right. Paying it forward.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool, because that shows me that you're a man that you don't forget where you come from. You're taking on your trials and tribulations head on. And although, you might have amassed this, you wrote books and you do this, that you don't look at people as their Lord and you are.
Right. There was a saying a long time ago in The Honeymooners. You know the movie?
Yeah, I know The Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason. Bing, bing, bing.
Ed Norton told him, be kind to the people on the way up because you're going to see them on the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's life. That's life.
But you know what? It's so true. It's a joke what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's so true. If you don't when you get, people is like, are you going to remember me when you're at the top? I go, I'm never going to forget you. Good or bad. Because if you gave me something bad where I was a failure and I don't like you anymore, I learned something from you. Right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, 99% of the people out there, I've already forgiven. Whether they've asked me for forgiveness or not, and whether I've said it to their face or not, I've forgiven them inside myself, because it's a burden on me when I don't forgive them. And that's holding me back from myself. You know?
Yeah.
So 100%, you got to remember where you started and where you are now, where you're going, and where you may end up back. Because it all going to come. Life is roller coasters. It's how big of the roller coaster are you on? I used to be on one that was to the tops, to the bottoms. Now it's kind of like this.
Okay.
Small waves instead of crazy.
You know, and that's life. Like you say, that the life experiences. You know, I've heard something. You know, it's a passage that say, you know, I'm content in whatever situation I be in. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm up or down, you know, abased or abound, I've learned to be content wherever I'm at, because if I get too high on some things, you know, or I start thinking of myself too highly than I ought to, and I'm looking down on other folks, but not knowing that one day I can be that person. You know, that can be me in reverse.
Easily, God will kick the leg right out from under you.
Hey, you know, so yeah, man, that's interesting. So couple more things I'd like to ask you. The live incredibly full every day, you know, the acronym ILFI code. How did you come up with that? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? What was the concept with coming up with that?
Great question, CJ. So here I am. I graduated from coaching and I got my certification because I paid off my bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I become a divorce recovery coach. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I just came through a divorce. And the coaching helped me get through it. God was smart. He put me into the coaching course at the same time I was going through my divorce. He had a plan, even though I didn't realize that it was his plan.
Yeah.
But now I know it's his plan.
Yeah.
And it got me through that divorce. And it got me to understand that I needed to fix my emotional roller coaster, and I wanted to pass it on to others. And I did that for a few years. And even then, I still wasn't making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working a dead-end job, a really dead-end job. And I'd get home every night and I would eat crap and I would not exercise. And one day I looked in the mirror and I was the heaviest I ever was in my life. And I couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs without breathing heavy.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I got to do something. And a friend of mine that I went to coaching school was on Facebook. He says, you know, I just did this program where it's 30 minutes every day video in your house. I'm like, in my house, I can wake up early. I don't have to go and buy a membership to a gym. I have somebody who I'm going to follow. It was called Sean T25, Focus T25, 25 minutes and then a couple of minutes of, cool down.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm into it. And my friend said to me, I'm going to coach you on the side as well for free. Just come in, do it, and then we'll talk. And in 9 months, I lost 65 pounds. But I also started eating better, reading better, watching better things, getting coached again. And my mindset shift. And now I liked myself and I loved myself and I started dating again. And one day I was doing something, I got to tell you, CJ, I'm ADHD. And somebody told me you should try meditation. I'm like, okay. So I got one of those guided app meditations. And I was like, for 10 minutes, I couldn't even how do people not think about anything for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So one day, I'm doing this meditation stuff. And I got this download of information that I was loving my life. And I wanted to show other people to do it too. So after this 10 minutes of meditation, I wrote for 2 hours. And out of that, I came up with the acronym LIFE.
Wow.
Because I was loving my life and I wanted to show people how they can live incredibly full every day. And to me, that means being happy and meaningful. Happy is self-love, self-care, even a bit selfish. Meaningful is selfless. What are you doing for others? What are you doing for the world, for your community, for the person next to you? And that's when you're living incredibly full every day. When you incorporate both of those things in your life.
Man, that's powerful. You know, that's powerful. Like I say, you know, I told you before we came on, when I saw that you know, caught my attention, like, wow, live life incredibly full every day. And so you breaking it down on what it actually means, man. You know, there's a couple of things you have said today. I'm I'm gonna put it to my repertoire, man. You know, and I hope some of y'all that's listening
2-3 times, give me credit. After that, it's yours.
So a couple more questions before we leave, man. So what motivates you? You know, you say you get up every morning and, you know, you jot down 3 things that you're grateful for. So, like, what motivates you and what drives you when you wake up in the morning? Is it relationships? Is it money? Yeah. Is it success? Yeah. Or is it something, you know, totally different?
Well, first thing is I got to say, you know, I told you I started dating again as I was going through that process. And I go out on these dates. And I come from a small Jewish community in Brooklyn. Yeah. So, and I get a call one day from a woman saying, "Are you ready to start dating?" And I'm like, "Kelly, I know you forever. You're married." You know. She goes, No. I'm your matchmaker. Matchmaker? What is this? Fiddler on the Roof? Should I start singing matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match?
Yeah.
No, keep it on the down low, but we're here to help the single people find a match.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. And she starts setting me up on dates. And I'm going out on these dates. And when I'm on these dates, I take the things I learned from coaching, like values. And I understand now what values really are. And I realized in my first marriage, our values were never aligned. And we were in a codependent relationship for 25 years.
You didn't even know it.
We didn't know what it was. So I'm not going to do that again. Yeah. I'm not marrying the same woman in a different body. And I go out on these dates. And one day, she called me up. This is 2, 3, 4 years into it. She goes, "You got to take out this woman." She starts explaining to me. And I'm like, "Okay, great. If you tell me, I'm going to go out with her." And she's checking off all the boxes. Next day, checking off all the boxes. A month later, I turned to her. I said, "I got to tell you something. And I don't have to hear it from you. But I'm falling in love with you because I love who you are and that I love you see me as I am and you're not trying to change me." Well, P.S. 2 years later, we got married. We've been married for almost 6 years now.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. But all that came from, and she hears stories about the old me.
Yeah.
She's like, "I don't want to know that guy."
So let me ask you a question. So I know a lot of times we change and, you know, we put that flesh up under. And so, but our personalities and, you know, saying what's in us is just in us. So do sometimes the old Martin, do he show up sometimes and you got to like, chill, Martin, chill?
Yeah, he does. But I got to say, where it used to be 95% of the time that old Martin shows up, now it's less than 5%.
Okay.
And when he does show up, I check on myself. I say, why is that guy showing up? What's going on? And what do I need to do to get me back to who I really want to be?
Okay.
And it's part of one of the things I teach in my course, in my book. It's having the emotional strength, building the emotional strength. And I mentioned to you, one of the things I did is I came up with, from my book, a card deck.
Yeah.
Right? And in there is a card on this, and it's about understanding, is your emotions controlling you? Or are you controlling your emotions?
Okay. Yeah, right? That's fitting.
Yeah. So, and it's about recognizing there's a difference between emotions and feelings. Emotion is that thing that comes right away. I'm angry. Right? Okay. What kind of anger are you? Are you pissed off? Are you enraged? Or are you just a little ticked off?
Yeah.
And now when you start to put words to it, then you go to the next level and say, why am I feeling this? You know, basically put yourself on trial and cross-examine. Why are you feeling this way? Did that person hurt me? Did they help me? What's going on? And then the last thing is, what am I going to do to get out of this? Am I going to react or am I going to respond? And if I react, that's thinking first and, you know, shooting first and thinking later, asking questions. But if you know, in a metaphor, if you shoot first and ask questions later, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hard to talk from there.
It's hard to talk to the dead.
Yeah.
You know, metaphorically, if you beat them up and you start yelling at them, even verbally, they're going to shut down. They're not going to want to talk to you when you calm down. Like, why should I talk to you? You're just going to yell again.
Yeah.
So it's about, but it takes time and it takes shifting and understanding that You do it once, it's okay. You do it twice, it's all right. But it needs to build on it.
Yeah.
And that's building that emotional strength.
Oh, okay. I mean, that it makes perfect sense. You know, like you say, part of it, taking accountability, working on yourself. And then, you know, then after you do that and put all the pieces together, then you can start helping others as you do. So my last question is, you know, before I let you go, man, because I really enjoyed you, man. You are hilarious. Very lively. So what are some of the goals you're pursuing, and what can we expect from Martin Salama in the near future?
So one of the goals I'm pursuing is getting my message out to as many people as possible about living incredibly full every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly believe if you understand the power of appreciation, gratitude, and the power of a smile and making somebody laugh,
Mm-hmm.
that's the start of it. You shift that mindset from lack to abundance. And then what's on the horizon for me is building even more of this program that I got out there to help a lot of those coaches out there who've got some great things that they want to help people with. They want to make an impact, but they also want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's not fool ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not just about one or the other.
Yeah.
It's both. But if you say, I want to make $1 million, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you say, I want to impact millions of people and make money along the way, that's a better way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from. I want to help people and make an impact.
Okay.
And that's what this program does. And, you know, if anybody wants to find out more about me, my books or whatever, they can go to connectwithmartin.com.
Connect with. Okay. How about any of your other social media handles? Are you on Facebook?
You go there, you can find it, but you can basically look for the Warriors Life Code on Instagram. I just started a TikTok page. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I'm doing it. And I'm not doing the dancing.
I don't do the dancing either. Well, Martin, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. You come back anytime, any of your other future projects that you're working on, man. If you want to come back on the show, man, and promote them, I'll be more than welcome. I'll be more than honored to have you on.
Thank you so much.
So, hey, I want you to stay on for a second, Martin. Hey, you have been listening to the CJ Moneyway Show with my man, Martin Salama. Hey, check it out. Peace. Hey, man, really enjoyed you, Martin, man. Funny.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, man.
Man, hey, man, you funny. Hey, so yeah, you know, so like I say, when I get ready to put it out, man, I send you some clips.
Yes.
Like I say, however you can take it. If you got Dropbox, I can send you the full clips. If you got a way, I can send you the full clips.
I'll ask him about that. They probably might. I have a couple of people that work with me that does that stuff.
Okay.
So listen, CJ, if you know anybody that might be interested in learning more about my course,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this program that I put together,
Okay.
let me know. You know, if you know people who are looking to create a 7-figure profitable business within 2 years or less, hopefully less.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I think I'm going to be on the less part. Let me know. Maybe yourself or someone you know.
Yeah.
And you got a program, you put it together on anger management.
Yeah.
It's going to fit right in there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to look into it myself, you know.
Yeah.
I tell you what, won't you send me a link? Send me a link that so with whatever I put out, you know, whether it's on social media or, you know, my podcast notes or whatever, I'll be sure to drop it in on whatever I do.
And you know what? We'll make it an affiliate link. So this way, anybody that gets involved, if they sign up through your link,
Mm-hmm.
right, you'll get a commission.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, you know.
How about 20% of $12,500?
Hey, that will work. That will work.
To get you to $1 million costs $100,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm not looking for the $100,000 up front. I'm
Okay.
looking for $12,500, and then the next money comes when they start to do the work, and we work together, and it starts happening.
Okay.
Right? Because you don't want to pay for information; you want to pay for results.
Okay.
So that's where I'm coming from.
So yeah, so
I'll definitely take care of that.
Yeah, so send me the links, send me your email address so I can keep you up with all things Moneyway. I'll let you know when it's coming down. Hey, and probably, man, hopefully in the near future, man, I can come to New York and we'll go to a Knicks game, man. Or it got to be the Knicks and the Lakers. Or a Yankees game. Now, I've never been to a Yankees game, man.
Oh, it's something good.
Yeah.
A Yankee Red Sox game.
Oh man, ooh, I could. Hey, my heart was broke when they was up 3-0 and lost 4 straight to them boys, man.
That was crazy.
Oh, that was crazy.
I got to tell you, that Juan Soto's looking pretty good for the Yankees.
Hey, from the first day when he, from left field or whatever, and shot him at the home plate. Yeah, they like, hey, that's what we need right there. And plus, he brings a different type of energy, like yourself, energy. He just didn't fit with the Padres, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. He's got good mentors around him. Guys like Aaron Judge. Could be a good guy. If Giancarlo can get his head straight, we'll even be better.
Man, they line up. I was watching them the other day. I'm like, man, look at that lineup that they gotta go against. Teams gotta go against. You got the what's the name that came from the Cubs, the first baseman.
Rizzo.
Rizzo, you got Rizzo, Judge, Santa, you got Soto. I mean, I'm like, man, they got a heck of a lineup that you gotta go through. But our pitching need to stay steady too, man. That's what always be our downfall in the postseason is our pitching.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Martin, man, I really enjoyed you, man. Like I say, let's stay in touch. Send me the affiliate, send me the link, man. I'll be sure to put it on everything that I put out, man, from here on out. And I wish you great success in everything that you do, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
All right, you too, man.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next. Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.